Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a setup that I've been using recently, kind of an off-meta setup that I've really been enjoying a lot. This is a build for the Gunslinger Hunter that's designed to utilize throwing knives in nearly every engagement to give you an advantage. For those of you that love playing Hunter and just want to use something different other than the typical Arc Strider Wormhusk helmet that's become incredibly popular, then this might be the build for you. So firstly, let's do a quick overview of the build itself. So we're going to be using Gunslinger. I like this best with Way of the Sharpshooter. However, it really works with both trees, so just pick which one you prefer. For our exotic, we're going to be using the Ophidia Spade, which is a new Hunter chest piece that gives you 2 knives for every 1 charge. So it's not 2 cooldowns, it's 2 throwing knives for every 1 charge cycle. On my armor, I like using 3 melee cooldown mods to give me a 41-second cooldown for my throwing knife, and again, it'll be 41 seconds for 2 knives. I use 1 grenade mod for my incendiary grenades for a 1 minute 9 second cooldown. Alternatively to this, you guys can go 2 melee charges and 2 grenade charges. That'll give you 2 throwing knives and your grenade every 55 seconds each. And lastly, in terms of weapons, I like using high damage output weapons. So Vigilance Wing is a really good one for this build. I know Vigilance Wing is just a crazy weapon in general, but it's great for this build. High impact pulses in general are pretty good as well. Hand cannons and sidearms are really good. Any really high damage output weapons. So the objectives of the build here is to have a knife in every engagement so you can finish every engagement possible very quickly. So that's going to be done through, again, the cooldown mods give you a 41-second cooldown for your 2 knives, or even, again, with 2 mods only, and if you put 2 into the grenade, for 55 seconds. The precision knife does deal more damage, so I like using that. That's why I like using the sharpshooter build a little bit more, because it deals more damage and gives you a little bit more potential, and it allows you to reuse it repeatedly. If you get a precision kill with a throwing knife, you get it right back, so you get to keep on using that, and that further encourages always having a knife ready. Gambler's Dodge is something I use in the build as well to regain my 2 knives. Again, this all contributes to having a throwing knife in every single engagement. I use the high damage output weapons because you want to use those in combination with the throwing knives to win engagements really quickly, because if you can do a lot of damage quickly and then just follow up with a throwing knife, it leads to a really fast time to kill. And with this, you can prevent enemies from closing the gap with power ammo or power weapons as well as melees. Lastly, I use incendiary grenades because they deal burning damage, and this counters the ever popular, again, Wormhusk helmet and its health regen. Even if I just barely hit someone with a grenade and they're using the Wormhusk helmet, they're not going to be able to regen mid-gunfight because the burning damage won't let them. It'll negate it. Now that we've talked about the specifics of the build and my goals with it, let's talk about the different gunslinger skill trees. The main reasons I would go with Way of the Sharpshooter is because you regain your knife on precision kills, and the increased precision damage gives you more potential for your throwing knives. On a side note though, and I know the supers aren't the main focus of this build and what we'll be comparing, but precision hits on Way of the Sharpshooter, not even kills but precision hits, reduces the cooldown of your super, allowing you to get it much sooner or just more often in a match. These are my 2 reasons to be using Way of the Sharpshooter over Way of the Outlaw. The precision knife, that's the non-explosive one, deals 118 damage to the head and 91 damage to the body. Gunslinger's Trance, the perk that allows you to get precision hits to reduce your super cooldown, just about halves your super cooldown while getting consecutive precision hits. Now in an actual game, you're not going to be just unloading precision hits one after another, so I'd assume you're going to get your super on an average of about 25% or so faster by hitting precision shots as well as getting kills. This perk works especially well with the V-Wings 5-round burst for 2 reasons. First of all, it's a high impact weapon, high damage output weapon, so that's going to pair really well with the precision throwing knife for getting really quick kills. And secondly, because of the 5-round burst, it gives you a lot of opportunity to be getting easy headshots, which again contribute to your super cooldown. The main reason I'd recommend using Way of the Outlaw is for the explosive throwing knife. Now, as much as this doesn't have as much potential, it doesn't require as much precision to use. In fact, it doesn't even require hitting them, and as a result has a utility almost like a second grenade to keep enemies weak or do good damage to them. And this is especially good for countering Wormhusk, because if they dodge, you just throw the knife in their general direction and you've negated their health regen. And I think you'll be surprised to see the actual blast radius of the explosive throwing knife and how forgiving it is. And to think that with the Ophidia Spade, you're getting 2 of these, so you have your incendiary grenade and then you have 2 explosive throwing knives. That's pretty powerful. The explosive throwing knife does 101 critical damage and 95 body damage and 72 blast or AoE 3 damage. I should mention though, as of this moment, these knives are bugged on PC. It's often that the 72 damage when getting a direct hit with these does not register and causes it to only deal 23 damage, and this seems to be tied to frame rate because at 30 FPS this was not happening for me at all. Taking a little closer look at the throwing knife now, in terms of hitboxes, they were incredibly forgiving. I was able to aim high above the health bar to get precision hits, or even land precision hits by aiming for the belt line or far off of the body as a whole. From what I could see, the hitboxes appeared to be the same for both the precision throwing knife and the explosive throwing knife. With mouse and keyboard, hitboxes were slightly tighter, but they still had good magnetism. This is most likely to balance, I assume, the degree of precision granted by M&K and lack thereof with a controller in comparison. Overall though, I do see this to be more forgiving with a controller. If you do question, however, how easy it is or how often you'll be able to get precision hits with your throwing knife, well, I'd use this as an indication that pretty much as long as you're aiming for the upper body, you're probably going to get a headshot. So I wouldn't think twice about it, just aim at the upper body, ADS if you need to, and then throw the knife, and then it'll probably track the head in most cases. With the precision knife, you have a lot of potential in getting quick kills with a few different weapons, which we'll be taking a look at as an example. Against a 5 Resilience Guardian, 4 crits or 1 crit for body, a more likely scenario of a viewing burst, will kill in combination with a precision hit of a throwing knife. Same goes for 5 Resilience and 3 crits, or 1 burst of all crits, of a high impact pulse rifle. 3 Resilience with a high impact hand cannon only takes 1 crit and 1 precision throwing knife to kill them. And in combination with Sturm with an overcharge, or even just with the flat out little bit of damage buff it gets, allows it to do this at even higher resiliences. Against 5 Resilience, 2 body shots of a 140 or 150 hand cannon will also result in a kill after hitting a precision throwing knife. As well as the Graviton Lance, if you land both shots in the burst, the small one and the big damage one, as a headshot, you can kill them against 3 Resilience just like a high impact hand cannon with 1 precision throwing knife. Otherwise, landing the precision throwing knife to the body or just using the explosive throwing knife in general will be pretty much the equivalent to hitting a normal melee, so you'll have to know your combinations based on that and treat it pretty much the same. The explosive throwing knife is a little bit more damage than the standard melee, but I'd treat it pretty much the same. Finally, in terms of our stat splits and mods you're going to want to be using, the 3 best stat splits I think you can get with this build are going to be 554, 717, and 618. With the 554 stat split, the main driving factor here is that you're going to be able to survive 3 critical bursts of the Graviton Lance. Next, I chose 4 recovery because to me, there is little to no difference. It's incredibly minuscule, the difference between 4 recovery and 6 or 7 recovery even. 7 recovery is when you start seeing a difference, but definitely between 4 and 6, there's almost no difference in my opinion. And now that we got our standards for resilience and our recovery, we can put everything else into mobility, which turns out to be 5. If you don't particularly find value in 5 resilience, then you can put those stats into the other things. So 717 becomes a great build, you get high agility, which is good, and you get the recovery level that starts making a difference. In my opinion, if you're not hitting 5 resilience right now, there's not much reason to be using any sort of resilience, so just put it into mobility and recovery. Another small variation of this build is 618. You can take one of your stats from agility, put it into recovery if you're not too keen on agility, because 8 recovery you're gonna see a pretty noticeable difference at. So to achieve these stat builds on my helmet, I use a grenade cooldown mod. If not, if you don't want that and you want 717 or 618, you can go for a recovery mod for one of those. For the arms, I use resilience mods, and if not, if you want the 717 or 618, you go for an agility mod. For the chest, I get a melee cooldown mod. Legs, I use a melee cooldown or a grenade mod. It's up to you what you choose. But if you're going for a 618 build, for your boots, you'll have to be using the boots from either Trials, Mercury, or Mars, as they provide an additional recovery option that other boots for whatever reason don't. And lastly, for your cloak, you'll need a melee cooldown mod. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this build if you do end up trying it out, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed this build. It's a ton of fun to use. It's super satisfying to get good with. So if you're looking for something fun and fresh to do in the game and in the Crucible, try this out. And if you want to double down on the mastery and satisfaction factor here, then try Sturm and Drang with this for 2 taps and throwing knives. It's a ton of fun. Additionally, share your thoughts on this build in the comments below, and if you'd like me to make a build for another subclass or specific playstyle or exotic armor piece that you want to use or weapon, just let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll do my best to make a cool loadout. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed again. It's been Drew here today, and I'll catch you guys later.
Hunters like you blaze a path. longer as